नित्यानन्देश्वर महासदाशिव समारम्भाम् नित्यानन्देश्वरि आदिशक्तिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। I welcome you all with my love and respects. I welcome everyone sitting with us all over the world with my love and blessings. I'll continue. On what I was expanding from yesterday. The moment you heard the word, I'll continue. If you are excited, you understood something from yesterday. If you feel ayo, then better go and watch that yesterday's satsang 10 times and then come back. To tell you honestly, the standard of education, standard of existence, both were so drastically brought down in India. Last 1,000 years through murders and 200 years through torture. I am shocked to see this generation kids do not know the names of gods and goddesses of Hinduism. The number of Hollywood, Bollywood, Kollywood celebrities' names they know, informations and biographical details they know, even 1/10 of that, they do not know the names and details of our gods and goddesses. In front of my eyes, I can see cultural genocide happening. Don't think only in Tibet cultural genocide is happening. All over India it is happening. I still remember, not only alcohol, even smoking and non-veg food used to be taboo in Tiruvannamalai. In open, no one will go and buy non-vegetarian, all those, that, what do you call, chicken, mutton, all that. There were no open shops. It used to be somewhere outside. And anybody goes to that street, people will mock, make fun, laugh. You can't find customers standing in alcohol shops. It will be like a packed inside one cover and like under the table it will be moved. And only the workers and drivers will go and procure, buy alcohol and keep it secretly in that owner's room. You won't find in public people standing and smoking. I still remember. In my family, all of them are educated people. My mother's brother, my uncle, he came and studied in Bangalore in those days, some graduation or something, and even he cannot talk about any non-veg food, forget about eating anything, you can't even talk about it, discuss. We were not allowed to eat in school, carrying our lunch, because some kid may bring non-veg lunch and we may sit along with them and eat by mistake. So we were not allowed to carry our lunch, and when we come back from school, all the clothes we will be literally made to stand naked outside the home, and my grandmother will pour water on my head. I still remember. When the school ends and we all come out of school, we were large joint family, means all next houses. I should not even say separate houses. It is all like a large joint family, because cooking happens in one place. Like a portions given to various families. So all the girls have to come in the backside door. Actually the whole house, both sides of the, to tell you, all the three sides of the house is a street. It's a large area. And my mother had 5 siblings totally. It means mother plus 4. My father had 3, means father plus 2. And all of them are living just in the 2-3 streets, nowhere else. So all the girls have to come the backside entry, and all the boys have to come in the front side entry. All the dress will be removed, and grandmother will pour the water. Only after they pour the water, you have to run inside the house and have the new dress. You have to wear the new dress. At least my mother's mother is little relaxed. She will allow the inners to be worn. My father's mother will not allow even inners. You have to remove everything. She will pour the water, only then you can enter. Because we might have touched some non-veg food. It was not related to community or caste. I am very clear, because the many so-called lower community, they all used to come to the house and eat in the house along with us. So it was never to do with caste or community. It was all about lifestyle orthodoxy. Understand? Much of our orthodoxy is lifestyle orthodoxy, because many the upper class families I have seen, people who are living the lifestyle, when they live the lifestyle, they don't bother about which caste, community and all that. It's a lifestyle orthodoxy, I should say. I still remember that when we come out of the school, we will all be standing outside. All the boys will stand in the front entrance and the girls will go to the backside entrance to get sanctified and be allowed inside the house. And we will all be standing in the queue, because all these girls have to pass and go back. Then one by one, everyone has to drop their clothes. One grandmother will be standing with a pot full of water. She will pour on everyone, and then we have to run inside and wear our clothes. And even these clothes which we dropped, she will not touch by hand. She will pour water on it and use a stick and lift. Now when I look, especially when I drive the streets of Tiruvannamalai, I can see cultural genocide. When people stand in line openly in Tasmak shops, when people smoke openly in Tiruvannamalai, say I am not talking about Tiruvannamalai alone, you need to understand. Tiruvannamalai is the place I can compare the stark memories. Because of that I am talking about Tiruvannamalai. I know the before and after. (1980s) and this 2018s. I can see the stark difference. That is why I am talking about Tiruvannamalai. Of course, I am sure all the cities the same thing is happening everywhere. I am not concerned about this alcohol and non-veg and all this from any moral sense. Understand? I am concerned about all this because they reduce the frequency of your consciousness. That is where the whole problem is. The ability to grasp life, ability to involve life in life. I tell you. Yesterday I was describing the what I call organic healthy brain. If it can understand a verbalization and hold that visualization, I call that as organic healthy brain. If you don't have organic healthy brain, not only you can't become enlightened, you can't be even an ordinary grihastha, understand? It's not that your grihastha means just die in gutter, no. You are a human being, you have life. One of the important thing you need to understand, do not push all my teachings on, dump on sannyasis and say, oh, we are grihasthas, we don't need all that. Come on, I am talking to consciousness. Many times we tend to do that. A healthy brain, healthy organic brain, is required to uphold anything and make it successful in your life. Understand? Life is too complicated. Too much of complexities. Yesterday I made a statement. Society will hate you, rate you, judge you, beat you. It will do everything. Beyond that, what makes you stand, that is what you are. Listen. Listen to this fundamental truth. Life is too complicated, too complex. In this, your ability to hold your visualization in your brain is what I call determination. Understand? Your ability to hold something in your visualization is determination. When you start enjoying the chemistry of determination, you grow something called will persistence. Determination is the curd from which will persistence is the ghee taken out. Will persistence manifests life. Understand, without will persistence, even if you inherit a whole country, it is dangerous for the country. Without will persistence, anything you inherit, even if you inherit, it's useless for you and for what you inherited. Life should be built. Life should be built. Especially with a lot of oppositions. That integrates you, I tell you, that integrates you. That makes strong people to gather around you. Understand, even to live in this campus, you need to be strong. 10,000 times stronger than any society, any person in society. Really, I am telling you. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Shine punnye madhyalokam vishanti. When punya is lost from Swarga, you come back to Buloka. When will persistence is lost, you leave Kailasa and go back to Buloka. I tell you. Ability to hold these higher visualizations. Ability to intensely feel this truth. Ability to intensely integrate your being. See, ability of your brain's ability to hold certain visualization and hold certain truths, understand and digest all these are basic tools for liberation and enlightenment and manifesting powers. I am not talking about alcohol, drugs, non-veg, all this from the angle of morality. I am talking about all this from the angle of human beings are losing their tools for living life. It is actually a big conspiracy against the humanity. And even the people who sell, they don't know why they are selling. It is not that all the money they gather with that they are happy. No, it is a large blind spot. If the blind spot is in one brain, it is called ignorance. If it is in the brains of a group of people, it is called collective stupidity. If it is in the brains of a society, it's called Maya. It is not that people who sell you alcohol and destroy your health and your brain's ability to live, your capacity to exist and make money. It is not that they are very happy. No, it is all like a... Nobody knows why we are all caught in this circle. Really getting frustrated about this large blind spot is what I call Vairagya. Large collective blind spot. Understand dark spot inside the moon and darkness of the night are not one and the same. Listen. Dark spots inside the moon, actually, because of moon's light only, you are even able to identify those dark spots. If you find some problems, incompletions inside this campus, it's like a dark spot inside the moon. That is not equivalent to darkness of the night outside world. Understand? I feel funny when some people try to compare. There also problem, here also problem. Hey. Problem. Dark spot surrounded by light. Problem surrounded by solution. There, complete darkness. It is necessary you to evolve a brain, completion, patience, when I use the word patience, you can read it as will persistence, where the pure consciousness can reflect, the mirroring of the neuron can happen. It is necessary. One of the most powerful methodology to develop the subtle grooves in the brain and clean up all the toxic and parasite effects on your brain, try to do some visualization related activity like doing alankara to deities, carving deities, doing deities in clay or painting deities. Do something where you need to hold certain visualization in your head and your hand needs to express it. Hand or leg, anything is okay, because even in 64 arts, the painting through the leg is one of the art. Just by dancing, making the paintings, rangoli through the leg, anything. See, visualization should be held in your brain and your actions should express that. If you talk to my mother, she will tell that at least 300 to 400 clay deities I have made with my own hand. My mother used to scream. Now she is very happy I have done all that. In those days, she and my grandmother both will scream because I will not eat. Once I sit to do that, sometimes for 1 week I will not eat. She will be sitting with food, begging, come and eat, come and eat, come and eat. I will be just lost. And those days, you get only 2 big publications, Ramakrishna Mission and Ramakrishna Tapovanam. Ramakrishna Math has published Chandi, Devi Mahatmyam, the book name is. There all the Dhyana slokams of Devi will be there. I was actually a fanatic Shakta. You guys cannot believe. No, not that I hate Shiva, not that, but very fanatic Shakta means I'll pick up only Shakta books, Shakta deities and make only Shakta everything. That is a Shivalinga I have. Mahadeva gave. Devi I have only I carved. All the lingas I have, not a single linga I made. It's all given by Mahadeva. All the Devi I have, I carved it. In that all the description will be there, how she looks and how she has all the hands and everything. I'll get Ramakrishna Mission books. In that only the Dhyana Sloka, the Tamil meaning will be there. And after making, I'll get Gita Press books. Gita Press Chandi will have the diagram also. I will not see the diagram before making. I'll read and make the deity, and then with the Gita Press book, I'll verify whether what I made is right or wrong. In those days, only 2-3 of these publications you will get. And all this really helps a lot to understand and grasp the higher truths. So I'll try to explain about these circuits. Understand, universe is not parallel. I'm making this statement. Universe is not parallel. The modern day science tries to claim universe is parallel. No. It is multi-level. So, listen to this. If a rishi sits here and with will persistence declares Brahma has to appear in front of me, Brahma's throne will shake, he has to appear in front of you. Because it is multi-level, not parallel. Listen. Understand this truth. Even if you decide to do a small act like moving your right hand, the ripple effect of this directly affects the sun. You are not negligible part of the existence. When you consider you are a negligible part of the existence, or you are an accident, or you are cursed, these are the multiple identities you try to associate due to the frustration and low self-identity. You give life to that identity. Because you give life to it, that becomes reality. Listen. The good news I have is, unconsciously, if you cherish even 10,000 years, you are a cursed being. Consciously, if you declare even once, you are a blessed being. The conscious declaration overpowers 10,000 unconscious cherished thought current, because even if 10,000 years a room is in darkness, one matchstick is enough to light it in 1 second. Listen. All powerlessness, all fear related thought currents, and all low self inner image you are cherishing, which puts you in powerless, is not clutched to consciousness. You need to understand that. They are all there indirectly receiving or sucking the energy from consciousness, but they are not supported by consciousness. That is why the asuras, how much ever powers they may get, finally they do not exist. Only with consciously what you clutch, you empower, exists. So what I am trying to convey with these few statements, Every idea, thought current you cherish in your brain creates certain map. If that map can be taken out and inserted on somebody, it is called circuit. If you cannot take it out, it just dies within you, it is map. If it can be taken out and inserted on somebody's head, it is circuit. For example, you cherish a thought current. Let the whole world be blissful. Let Sadashivatva happen. These thought currents create certain electric signals in your brain, certain map. If you are able to hold that stably till the other brain vibrates to the same frequency, it is called circuit. Understand? My Sadashivatva, I hold on to that till all of you are able to reverberate to that frequency. That is what is initiation. One good thing with your brain is it always goes towards the bright side. Like a water always flows towards the lower end, your brain, any higher frequency, it always flows towards it. That is why almost everyone says, when I sit in front of Swamiji, all my problems are forgotten. That is why when I want to make some decision, cherishing my problem, I don't want to go in front of him. Because my mind will change if I go in front of him or if I talk to him. Secret. Ravana says, Ravana's sister, Shurpanaka, she gives idea to Ravana. You are a Maya Mantri. You know everything of magic and changing the forms. You can take any form as you want. Why don't you take Rama's form and go and enjoy Sita? He says, the moment I remember him, the very frequency, all my personal lust disappears. How can he take his form? The moment my brain mirrors Rama's neurons, there's no more lust. Where can I assume his form and go on? Understand the power and intensity of the Rama's existence. See, when I initiate all of you into powers, it is nothing but I just hold that power circuit and sit quietly, so all your brain starts reverberating in the same frequency. So this map becomes circuit in your system. See, if it is only in your brain, it is called map. If it can be reproduced, it is called circuit. That's all. If it becomes alive to reproduce itself, it is called circuit. Like if a lady remains single, she is lady. If she gives birth, she becomes mother. So map is a lady, circuit is mother. That's all. Actually, I am telling you, first 10-20 powers only, you need to, what to say, that kind of a little catching up will be like a little work. Once your brain starts catching up even 10 circuits of these powers, after that initiating all the powers manifestation is just like that. It's like a sipping cup of coffee, that's all. I can just have, you can have coffee with Swamiji and have 20 powers and go. It's nothing more than that. Initially the brain need to capture. So at that time only all this detoxification, parasites cleaning, all that is required. One more powerful thought current. Listen. In the end, I'll tell you why I am sharing various different powerful thought currents. One I share now is, you are not negligible, accidental, unwanted, supposed to be aborted, illegitimate child of the cosmos. You are welcomed, respected, revered, celebrated. That's the first thing you need to know. Second, listen to this very intensely. Don't think, oh, I think I already heard this. No. No. Listen. Listen intensely. Liberate your inner space from the impacts and assumptions and quick conclusions of external happening. Listen. If you are meditating, you are Sadashiva. Even if a small problem comes, you give up on your understanding, you are Sadashiva, and tries to analyze and justify. No, I think still that is not yet become reality for me. Listen, you are not Sadashiva just only if you manifest powers. You are Sadashiva because it is truth. I have seen many people try to gamble with their Sadashivahood. I will believe I am Sadashiva if this happens. No. If this does not happen, I don't think this truth works for me. How many of you have gambled like this? Listen, your Sadashiva is not an idea to be gambled. You are Sadashiva because that is the truth. This gambling takes away the stability of your system to manifest powers. When you understand it is truth, whether what I want happens outside or not, I am Sadashiva is the truth, that nothing can be done. I can give 2000 evidences to deny it. That does not mean I can lose my original state. No. You can't lose. With this clarity, with this powerful cognition, I should not even say it is powerful cognition, it is just Satya. With this Satya, when you sit, even if you are playing in your Facebook, you can manifest powers. Because even when you are playing in your Facebook, you are Sadashiva. You are Sadashiva not because you remember and meditate, you are Sadashiva. Even if you don't remember and don't meditate, you are Sadashiva. It's not that you are Sadashiva because you manifest powers. You are Sadashiva because that is truth. Understand, Sadashiva always wants you to first study Vedas because Vedas is the logic of truth. Agamas is the science of power manifestation. If you are directly given the science of power manifestation, you will gamble it. Oh, if I manifest powers, then I am Sadashiva. If not, I am not. You will start gambling with this truth. That is why first the Vedas, Vidya is given. This is truth whether you manifest or not. If you just stop with Vedas, that's also not complete. If you just gamble only with Agamas, that is also not complete. Intensity and continuity is one and the same, is complete. I tell you, all great successful people had roots in Vedas and wings of Agamas. They were all rooted in the Vedas. Means the truth is truth because it is truth. Manifestation is a natural mandatory process of the truth. Listen. Natural mandatory process, that is the right word. I can't use the word mandatory, then it will become all about effort. I can't just use the word natural, then it will become all about laziness of Vedanta. Which I am afraid of. Arivaru gajamum manjeen, Ayiram diyum manjeen, Masusai makkal lanjeen, Yesidum iniyarkum anjeen, Ariyar asadigandu ammanam anjumare. I am not afraid of people who abuse, defame, or I am not afraid of the mad elephant, or I am not afraid of the forest fire, but I am afraid of the educated people's laziness, lethargy, justified by their education. Ariyar asadigandu ammanam anjumare. No, it's not from any Tiruvasagam, it is Guruvasagam, spontaneous. I'll give you some of the understanding about the units of physics and chemistry and biology. Unit of the chemistry in you, I am talking about as far as power manifestation is concerned. Biology is your biomemory. When you add powerful cognitions, the actions and reactions happen is chemistry. And what you manifest is physics. Powers. Or powerlessness, whatever. Unit of physics is power or powerlessness. That's all. Only these two unit. Any happening is only these two. Deva, Asura, that's all. Nothing else. Everything else is attribute. Attribute is different from unit. When I say unit, I am talking about the fundamental unit. Everything else is attribute. Same way in chemistry. Pain and pleasure, only these two are unit. Everything else is attribute. All experience, action and reaction is only pain or pleasure, that's all. That is why the day I was telling that don't invite pain, but don't hate pain, because pain grows the roots in you which you can never grow by just joy. It brings certain kind of a depth in you which you cannot get it just by joy. Kind of a stability, maturity is brought by pain. But of course, inviting it is stupidity. Don't invite. Don't become sadist. No. Neither invite nor hate. When it comes, allow it to do its job. The unit of biology is your wants and fears. Your fear and your greed is the unit of your biology, means biomemory. Pain or pleasure is the unit of your chemistry. Power or powerfulness, powerlessness or powerfulness is the unit of your physics. I am talking from the angle of power manifestation science. You can roughly equate it to the powerfulness can be called as plus and powerlessness can be called as minus in normal physics. Same way in the chemistry, all actions can be called as joy and all reactions can be called as pain. Because most of the time, reactions is unexpected or unwanted. Avyakta, unknown, which you neither expect or want. Like side effect and after effect. You go for taking a tablet for headache and you lose your head finally. Cognition you are building, cognitions you are building is greed. Cognitions you built is fear. Listen. Cognitions you are building is greed, hope, future. What do you want? Cognitions you already built but unable to forget, move it out of your system is fear. I am not talking in the terms of psychology. I am talking in the terms of physiology of the consciousness. That's the right word for Vedic psychology. Physiology of the consciousness is the right word for psychology. Consciousness in perceivable form is the Vedic psychology. Understand, even the definitions should be from liberating cognitions. Nobody wants knowledge to be just feeling bound and stuck and getting exploited. More and more you know about the Vedas, you are liberated. Understand, all definitions are also from liberating cognitions in Vedic tradition. Everything, the way it is defined itself not just helps you to identify problem, it helps you to liberate yourself. That is why we claim Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. You can't say, if you know psychology, you are liberated from psychology. No. There is no such thing as psychology is the truth. I wanted to tell you the word. There is only something called physiology of consciousness. Chit Jata Granthi. Granthi has no individual existence. If two ropes are tied into knot, the knot does not have individual existence. If you start believing the knot has an individual existence, you are caught. That is why the definition is physiology of consciousness. So, even the very definition is liberating. Liberates. What is Vidya? Which liberates you. Which empowers you. There is only Chit Jada Granthi. There is no individual existence as psychology, no. I'll remind you about one truth. In spirituality, where you start, you remain there forever. If you start as man, never expect to reach God. If you start as God, you never need to bother about reaching anywhere else. So the first principle you hear matters. Understand? There's a big difference between these two statements. I love you, but I love you. Understand, there is a big difference between these two statements. I love you, but I love you. Listen, same way, Tattvamasi, but Tattvamasi. There is a big difference between these two. Tattvamasi, but Tattvamasi. Understand. Understand, there's a big difference between these two. I want to remind you, I am not Tattvamasi, but no, but Tattvamasi. The primal statement you hear matters. Where you start matters. Understand? I'm really telling you. Where you start is almost like a whom you marry. It matters. It matters up. Before marriage, it look like a no matter who is there, whatever, no matter, it's okay, it doesn't matter. Whoever my father says, mother says, I will put my head. Or whoever is wearing this dress and looks like that, then I'll stretch my head. Whom you marry matters. Only after marriage you will understand. Before that, you always have a guts saying, oh, let it come, I'll face it. It's like in the Marriage of lions, one rat was dancing in the center. They asked, how dare you come here amidst the lions and dance? The rat said, hey, even before marriage I was also lion only. Before marriage I was also lion, relax. Understand, the first principle matters. It really matters. Where you end, don't care. Start always as Advaiti. Where you end, don't care. Start always as Advaiti. Because where you start matters. Advaita is the starting point, not conclusive cognition. Understand? I am not saying Advaita will not be conclusive cognition. I am only saying don't think Advaita should be only conclusive cognition. Start with Advaita. You will be an amazing Bhakta, amazing Dvaiti, amazing Vishishtadvaiti. And no Dvaiti will have a guts to say, start as Dvaiti, you will have amazing Advaiti. No. Come on, give me a quotation. But I can give you 10,000 quotations where Advaitis say, start as Advaiti, you will be an amazing Dvaiti, amazing Vishishtadvaiti. Because oneness is fundamental principle which clears many of the internal conflicts. It makes you understand the units, formulas and apps of the cosmos. Legitimacy of the universe, legitimacy of your existence. Understand, legitimacy of the universe is devotion. Legitimacy of your existence is self-respect, self-confidence. Legitimacy of the universe and legitimacy of your existence becomes your reality in Advaita. After that you can play any game, Dvaita, Vishishtadvaita, Vishishtadvaita Advaita, Dvaita Vishishtadvaita, no problem. You can create even your own Vaita, no problem. Advaita will give you legitimate answers about the existence and you. Will bring legitimacy to your existence. Kids need to be brought up with the foundation of Advaita. Advaita grounds you. It just grounds you. I tell you. Ground yourself in Advaita. No one can cheat you or exploit you. Upanishad should be taught in all schools. fundamental truths of Upanishads. A kid, whether he wants just a candy or he is thinking of his future vision, everything he should be grounded on Advaita and cherish and plan. He will be amazingly grounded, I tell you. Advaita makes you loved and wanted with this existence. It will make you feel you are wanted, you are loved, you are cherished. You have a legitimate right to exist. Because you are still able to feel you exist, you are wanted to be exist. If you still feel you exist, your existence is wanted and celebrated. I tell you, the most important thing a child should have is getting grounded on the existence, the legitimacy of his existence. You see, a child, when he goes through a physical maturity, the biggest thing he will go through, that kid, male or female, will go through is, why am I alive? What is my purpose? Why am I existing? What am I going to do? This why. Understand that why cannot be answered by one answer. That can only be answered by something with which the child grinds himself or herself. I've seen in villages, to make the grinding stone smooth, they will put the tavd. Tavd, I don't know what's the English word. Husk and the lemon juice, they will pour it. And tell the kids only have to sit and grind to make that grinding stone smooth. If they buy new grinding stone from the shop, it will have the small sharp edges to clean that up so that it will not get into our food and get into the stomach. They will ask the kids to clean it up. They will put the husk and lemon juice, and we will have to be sitting and grinding it for morning till night. So all that sharp edges of that grinding machine will be cleared. It will become smooth. And then they will throw this away, clean it up, and then they will start using for all the cooking or the grinding the food items. Same way, system should be grounded with the ideas of oneness, truth, Advaita, Satya. Especially when a child goes through that adolescence. Constantly inner thought currents should be all about his existence is legitimate. Understand? If a child is grounded during the adolescence, he will be such a blessing for the world, because he will go on be teaching to the world, you are all grounded, you are all needed, you are all existence, you are all celebrated, you are all welcome. He will be manifesting that Shaktipada. Understand, during the adolescence, if he is given the terrorist ideas, over. All the terrorist manuals teach you don't have a right to exist. You are whatever. You don't have a right to exist. Your existence is a curse on you. Your existence is from the sin. Your existence is from something wrong. Then you are uprooted, frustrated. You are not even accepted by you. So you wait for everyone's acceptance to accept you. That is the fundamental way of keeping a man slave. Anyone who waits for others' acceptance to accept himself is hooked to the greed. Over. Now you have a slave. Society has one more slave. Whoever understands the legitimacy of your existence, you don't need, see, I am not saying do something antisocial, no. But social acceptance is not required for your legitimacy of your existence. That is what is the freedom of Advaita. Understand? Listen to this. That is why I was telling, the small dark patch you find here is the dark patches of the moon. The dark patch surrounded by the light, you see even the dark patch because the light is too much. You may have small problems, but you are grounded with the right legitimacy. Outside, understand? Uncle will give you pizza. That does not mean he will be responsible for your life. He may be pleasant, but not always right. Parents may not be pleasant, but will always be right. Kailasa is the place of Ammayappan. Buloka is the place of Mama. Bhuma is the place of Mama. It will be very pleasant. You can take a selfie and put it in the Facebook. Kailash is the place of Ammayappan. May not be always pleasant, but always right. Buloka may be pleasant many times, but never right. Especially adolescence is the time you should grow. Even if you struggle, you should grow only with this Advaitic thought current. And the people who are struggling with the Advaitic thought current, understand, even the Vata Varana, where people are seeking, struggling, is not a joke. Struggling people are 1,000 times greater, even if they fail, than the people who don't even struggle. That is why Ramakrishna says, a failed sannyasi is 1,000 times greater than a person who never tried for sannyas. Even if somebody is a failed sannyasi, he is 1,000 times greater than who never tried. So legitimacy of the universe and legitimacy of your existence. Legitimacy of the universe and legitimacy of your existence is experienced by Advaitic thought current only, the truths of Advaita. Understand, you will understand the difference between faulty generalization and the reality only with the clarity of oneness. Otherwise, many times you can very comfortably make faulty generalization. What? Oh, ashram, you have to stand in the queue for food with a plate like a jail. That is what is faulty generalization. There, no one is going to care about your health. Here, every pickle, so much of attention and care is given about your health and your life. Every idea you practice, every item you eat, every idea you conceive or every item you consume, so much goes behind. Every idea you conceive and every item you consume, so much goes behind. Every thought current mixed in the Vatavarana. Understand there is something called, every community as something called discourse of the community. For example, if there is army settlement, they will always be talking about what is problem in the border, what is going on here. If there is a lawyers community, they will always be talking about what is a big case going on, big problems going on. If there is a settlement of dancers, it will always be about what is the better way to improve the dance. So something called discourse of the community, the Vatavarana. Understand? Even the discourse of this community is Sadashiva and integrity. You will not find this intensity and this continuity and this large number anywhere else on the planet Earth. I guarantee it. I'm guaranteeing. Just today, if I put a board, largest number of people manifesting extraordinary powers of superconsciousness, no one can challenge. Come on. No one can challenge. Like Ashwamedha Yajna, if I just put a horse carriage and put 10 of my Gurukul kids and send all over, whoever, come on, establishes you have more power manifestation than these kids, I accept, or you accept my territory. I think it's a very innovative idea, spiritual Ashwamedha Yajna. We should have horse carriages, carrying our Gurukul kids, going to all directions, all over the world, with this challenge. With the spiritual powers, anybody can conquer. We are ready to face you. Either you disprove or follow. I think with this challenge, it can be used properly to spread the glory of Mahasadashiva. But always only kings are bothered about declaring their supremacy. Supreme being never bothers about declaring its supremacy. The next powerful cognition needed to understand the units of physics, chemistry, and biology of the cosmos. No continuity loses intensity, no intensity loses continuity. Even if you manifested one power once, it can never go away from you. Intensity is continuity, even if you deny and forget, want to deny. Just few days before, I shared a video which was research done, how the death happens and how even after death 10 minutes your brain works, and how the hot flash of memories happen during the death. All that description. Of course, they have so many questions which they don't have answer. Unfortunately, they do not know the source of answers. No, I'm willing to share experientially and show them answers. And if you just see that video and see what I do to you during the death process, you will be shocked. Both are just one and the same. If you have been through death process in our programs, you should see that video and see, oh God, you'll have so many clicks. This is the next powerful cognition, satya, you need to understand. Intensity cannot lose continuity. Continuity cannot lose intensity. If this is a matter, it is power. If this is power, it is a matter. Intensity cannot lose continuity. Continuity cannot lose intensity, even if your brain is not able to grasp. If you try to deny just because your brain is not able to grasp, you are atheist and you hope you can be happy after marriage. You are stupid atheist. Approaching with a soft stand towards the things your brain is not able to grasp is called seeking. Understanding things which your brain is not able to grasp exists is devotion. Realizing things beyond your brain's ability to grasp exists is celebration. Anybody struggles with the fluctuations of power manifestation should use this powerful cognition. Intensity does not lose continuity, and continuity does not lose intensity. E is E. Separation of intensity and continuity is the first original sin. Original sin is nothing but separation of Intensity and continuity. When you start believing intensity and continuity are separate, the original sin is committed. When you realize intensity and continuity are not separate, you ground yourself in oneness. Understand? Whether the joy intensity you carry in the waking state continues even during your dream and deep sleep, or the pain you carry in your waking state continues in your dream and deep sleep state as an undercurrent. That same thing with life. Intensity is continuity. Continuity is intensity. Intensity cannot lose continuity. Continuity cannot lose intensity. Anybody who is struggling with power manifestation, oh, I did it when I was in Mahasadashivogam. Now will I be able to do same? The only cognition you need to have, the satya you need to understand, intensity does not lose continuity. Continuity does not lose intensity. Any idea, any belief you have about intensity cannot be continuity and continuity cannot be intense is false belief, incompletion, low cognition, SDHD, which does not have existence. That's a good news. That's a good news. That's a good news. I tell you, all of you were initiated by my intensity. Your wrong belief, it cannot be continuity, is the reason why you are not manifesting. Now receive this initiation. Shaktipada, intensity is continuity, continuity is intensity. You will manifest all powers. So essence of today's satsang, intensity is continuity, continuity is intensity. Matter is energy, energy is matter. With this, I bless you all. Let's all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Shuddhadvaita Saivam. Maha Sada Shivoham. The eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you. Be blissful.